All right, so I am the account director at Offshoot Inc., which is a web development company based in Liberty Village. I'm also the co-founder of Parkdale Roadrunners. These are some of the Parkdale Roadrunners right here. Parkdale Roadrunners is a community-based running group that I helped start in 2010. We meet every Tuesday and we run, rain or shine, on time, and no one left behind. We also train together and we race together. Parkdale Roadrunners is part of an international group of running crews based in cities around the world. We're connected via social media, and we regularly travel to races and play host to each other. We meet up. Bridge the Gap is what the movement is called, and we communicate with the hashtag #CrewLove. We use hashtag Bridge the Gap, and one of our mottos is Run, Party, Repeat, which goes to, the credit for that one goes to Enbro from Copenhagen. So when I started running in 2007, my life was pretty ugly. I was working as a nightclub promoter and spending 6-7 days a week or nights a week in bars. I had a general lack of direction. I had just gone through a bad breakup. My parents were both sick. I had low self-esteem, and I had a short temper. I was truly in an ugly place. My life was quite ugly. And running is the thing that allowed me to start down the path of becoming the person that I owed it to myself to become. The great thing about running is that all you really need is a pair of sneakers and some motivation to get out the door. And soon enough, if you stick with it, that motivation that got you out the door on day one is the motivation that will start to permeate the other areas of your life, and you'll start to reap the rewards of a proactive lifestyle. So running is a physical activity, and so there's a lot of physical ugly that goes along with running. There are some things that you don't see. In my own experience, I have, and some of these guys were here to see it, I have sprained my ankle while running. I've gotten a stress fracture while running. On multiple occasions, Jerry, I have gotten chafing in areas that we're just not going to talk about today. I've suffered from black toenails, I've gotten blood blisters, and I've gotten regular blisters. Sorry. The topic's ugly. I kept saying to Preeti, my fiance, I was like, I don't know if I can show these images. They're kind of disgusting. And she was like, well, the topic's ugly. Anybody who signed up to go has to be prepared to see some ugly stuff. One of the least discussed, but certainly most disgusting things that comes along with running, for men in particular, is bloody nipples. This is the #1 search return on Google image search if you type in bloody nipples. For anybody who has experienced this or come close, this is not me. If anybody, I've been real close, but luckily I found a product a couple years ago that helps stop this. And if there's anybody in the room that's a runner that wants to know what they're looking at on the screen here, come up to me afterwards and I will point you in the right direction. It's a great product. Probably the most frustrating and dejecting and unsightly aspect of running. It usually happens a couple of days after each race. You get an email that says, click here to check out your race photos. So you do, excited to see the result of all that hard work you put in. Whether it was a 5K, a 10K, or a marathon, you're ready to see these photos. And when you click that link, you find out that for the low, low price of $29.99, and yes, I paid $29.99 for this photo. None of you guys did. All your photos were watermarked. I didn't want to show you the watermark. For the low, low price of $29.99, you can have a digital download of the worst photo ever taken of you. This particular race was the Toronto Yonge Street 10K in April of 2014. It had been a couple of years since I'd raced this particular course, and I was looking for a fairly lofty goal of a sub-40 10K. That's 4 minutes per kilometer. That's a pretty hefty pace. It was right around the time that this photo was taken. We're not too far from like Young and Wellesley right here. Right around this time, the 40-minute pacer started to drop me. He was easily 100 meters ahead of me, and I didn't have the gas to catch him. And it was at that moment when I realized that I wasn't going to catch him or stay with him that the feelings of quitting started to enter my brain. And the brain is a powerful thing. It'll reason its way in or out of all sorts of situations. Think about that in your own life, and you'll realize you can reason your way out of washing dishes, but you can easily reason your way into binge watching Orange is the New Black. The feelings of quitting are probably the hardest thing that you actually encounter while running. At this moment, I noticed that my feet were also burning. And when I say my feet were burning, I don't mean I was running fast. I was running slower than I intended. But this is what my feet looked like after that race. They're covered for my protection and yours. The blisters on these feet are way worse than anything I just showed you. On my left foot are 2 toonie-sized blisters. On my right foot are another 2 toonie-sized blisters, with a third one about the size of a dime right on the ball of my foot. I managed to rip all the skin off 2 of my toes on my right foot. This was by far the worst pain I've ever experienced while running a race, and this was only 10K. Now, in the Bridge the Gap community, there's a rule. If you don't race, you must cheer. The cheer squad is a very important element in crew running. This is my cheer squad today. At this particular race, our cheer squad was posted up on Richmond Street West. They were there were about 50 of us running this race. And so the cheer squad was fairly small that day because most of us were racing. And at that cheer squad, this photo was taken. And personally, I think that this is by far the most beautiful photograph that anybody's ever taken of me running. Not of anybody running, but of me running. I'll cherish this photo for the rest of my life. When I look at this, I barely remember the pain that I suffered for a few days after that race. I'm telling you, the blisters on my feet, it felt like walking on fire ants for a good 3-4 days. But the crazy thing about this is that this photo was taken by, I think, a 7-year-old with nothing more than an iPhone. Why is it that a 7-year-old with an iPhone can take a better photo that encapsulates the entire spirit of that moment better than a grown man paid professional with at least 7 G's worth of camera equipment strapped around his neck? I swear he had 2 bodies and 5 lenses and a low-pro backpack filled with gear. I mean, and he took the photo you guys saw. $29.99. I'll cherish this photo for the rest of my life. So let's talk about the beauty that comes with running. The ugly is only something that, that contrast allows you to feel and experience that beauty. Running's effect on the brain is pretty incredible. It improves your memory. It also helps reduce stress. It's an incredible antidepressant, better than any pharmaceutical on the market. It gives you time to think, which leads to more proactive behavior and less reactive behavior. These feelings of stress, as they subside, will also, that void created by the stress leaving, will also fill with feelings of self-worth. And it's pretty amazing in that sense. Now, something that I've struggled with to find the words to sort of put into context, and only recently was able to do it, was safe people in life strive to have really high lows and really low highs. They create this pocket for themselves to reside within. It's almost like a hallway that they can safely get through life in. But nothing ventured, nothing gained, right? Others will have really low lows and really high highs, and that's actually just kind of terrifying and precarious, not a fun way to live your life. But by being a member of a running group, and in particular, from my perspective, Parkdale Roadrunners, what we get is we get these really high lows and these really high highs. It's like we've shifted the scale and we're cheating the system. We're having our cake and eating it too. It's another great benefit of being a runner. If you want to eat some cake, eat the cake. Just do it. Now, I know Creative Morning says no selling from the stage, but I'm a salesman by trade. These guys all know that. And what I'm here to sell you on today is joining a running group, because it will be the most amazing, beautiful thing that you can do for yourself. Despite all that ugly stuff we've talked about, if you're willing to push through that, if you're willing to put yourself on the line, if you're willing to endure and confront what's ugly, the benefits will be incredible. Right now, we're in the midst of the third running boom. The first two were started by baby boomers. Some say that this third one is being driven by the baby boomers as well, but I really don't think that that's the case. What I think is actually happening here is a bit more of a generational shift and a bit more of a paradigm shift when it comes to fitness. What I think is different about the crew movement and the group running movement is that we're actually integrating running into our lives in a holistic manner. Meaning, it's no longer something that we do alone prior to our partner waking up or our kids waking up. It's not something we do in ill-fitting clothing that's unstylish that you want to take off immediately afterwards. It's something you integrate into your social calendar. And because the fashion carries over as well, you've got this ability to go for a run and then to the cafe, and from a cafe to cross-training. And when the cross-training's done, we go for dinner. You know, it's this total approach to your life, rather than it just being this segment of your life that's kind of gross, that you don't share with anybody, that you don't talk about. Now, joining a running group, the reason it's so great is because at first, you really are just having fun, taking pleasure, knowing that you're doing something that you would normally consider to be a solitary act. Soon enough, you start to form bonds, and when you form those bonds, you start to feel accountable to the people that you're running with week in, week out. And when that accountability is there, that's when things really start to get beautiful. You never want to miss out on a run. You feel like you're letting down your crew and yourself if you don't show up. Before long, you feel like you're part of the family, and you're hooked. Now, beauty is something that I have a hard time really putting words to. It's not something that words don't come easily to me when talking about beauty. Because it's something you feel or something you see, there's all this emotion wrapped up in it, and there's this little whirlwind that happens when you see something beautiful or experience something beautiful. So today I actually brought with me a video, and this video was compiled, shot, and edited by Mr. Hawaii. Raise your hand, buddy. Mr. Hawaii, aka Chris DeConing, shot and edited this video for us, and it was compiled between October 2013, our 3rd anniversary, and October 2014, our 4th anniversary. I hope you guys enjoy it.
Regrets collect like old friends, here to relive your darkest moments. I can see no way, I can see no way. And all of the ghouls come out to play, and every demon wants its pound of flesh. But I like to keep some things to myself. I like to keep my issues strong. It's always done.